Hi guys, and welcome back to another video lesson organized as a part of IELTS reading marathon. So today we're going to have our fourth lesson, and in today's class we're going to be talking about three of the question types that are really common in IELTS reading passage 2. So the question types are going to be matching information and sentence completion, as well as 5-option multiple choice question. So in today's video, I will be trying to give you some tips and strategies to help you improve your reading score, right? Now let's get started. So first of all, let's have a look at the task information about the matching information question type, right? So matching information task is different from matching headings task, right? So you need to really pay closer attention in this part. Matching information is totally different from matching headings task, right? But it is also one of the most challenging question types for most of the IELTS candidates, right? First of all, the information you are searching for is only in part of a paragraph, right? But in the heading, you need to take it from the whole paragraph. But in this question type, the information you're searching for is going to be taken from only one part of the paragraph, right? And the next one. A paragraph can be chosen more than once, right? So in the heading question type, you can't use one paragraph more than once, right? But in this question type, which means in matching information, you can use one paragraph more than once, which means twice as well, right? And not all paragraphs will be chosen as an answer, right? Which means you might omit some of the paragraphs. And the next one is the questions start with a phrase showing the type of information that must be located. So this is going to help us to find the correct answer, right? In the next page, I have provided you with a kind of exercise according to this part, right? Now let's have a look. We've got getting ready for the task and a little small exercise. Look at phrases 1 to 5 showing the type of information you might need to locate. Match them with extracts A to E. Some phrases have been underlined to help you, as you can see, guys, right? Have a look. If you have a look at the words in bold, they are the kind of words that tell us the type of information we need to look for, right? For example, the first one says a contrast between the results of something. So have a look, a contrast. So you should look for a kind of comparison between some results, okay? So comparison. And then in the next one, in the second one, it says a warning about the outcome of something. So you need to pay attention to the word warning. So we should find something that we need to worry about, right? And the third one is going to be like a reason why one group, blah, blah, blah. And have a look at the word reason, which means you need to look for an explanation, okay? And the next one is a challenge to a theory about something, which means questioning a kind of theory, whether it's going to be true or false, something like that, right? And the next one is a criticism of one company's approach. So have a look at the word criticism. You should look for people criticizing some kind of company's approach, right? And here we've got several options. Now you have to pause the video, and first of all you need to solve all of them, and then I'll give you the answers, okay? Okay, if you guys have finished, I'm just showing you the answers, and the answers are like this. I guess your answers are exactly the same, right? So that's all. This is a kind of warm-up questions, and now we can easily move to the main questions. First of all, guys, you guys need to understand and analyze these question types first, which means before you read the text, because these question types are not going to come in the passage order, right? Which means, first of all, you might find the answer of the first one, and then the first one, and then the third one, or the fifth one, or like this, right? That's why you guys need to read every single question type before you start reading the passage, okay? And have a look. Reading passage 2 has 6 paragraphs, A to F. Which paragraph contains the following information? And it says you may use any letter more than once, right? Which means you are likely to use some of the paragraphs as an answer to the 2 questions or more, right? First, have a look. Here it says a comparison between two different types of sleep that people experience. Again, we should have a kind of contrast, comparing two types of sleep, right? So if you read any kind of paragraph that's talking about the differences between two types of sleep, that's going to be the answer, okay? The next one, an explanation for some people not wanting to admit the amount of sleep they require. So if people are ashamed of admitting or telling the exact amount of sleep they take, and if they give the reason in the paragraph, that paragraph is going to be chosen as an answer to the second question, okay? And the third one, examples of different behaviors that have a negative impact on mental performance. So have a look. Examples, and examples is in plural, right? Which means you're not going to have only one example. You're going to have two or three or even more examples. And have a look. Different behaviors that have a negative effect on mental performance, right? So if they talk about a kind of action or activities, and if these activities influence mental activity in a negative way, that's going to be the answer, okay? And have a look at the next one as well. A suggestion that medical professionals, have a look, medical professionals are not taking the right approach. So you should look for synonyms, and I guess for medical professionals you're going to have something like doctors, right? And a paragraph should talk about doctors, and they shouldn't be doing the right thing, right? They should be doing something wrong, okay? Have a look. And the last one, a reference to changing trends in the average amount of sleep people get. So if any paragraph talks about the amount of sleep and the changes occurring in that amount, which means in the past people used to sleep these hours and now they're sleeping in this, and this paragraph is going to be the answer, okay? So that's all about the explanation part of matching information. Now have a look at the next part. We've got sentence completion as well, right? And let's have a look at the task information. Sentence completion is also one of the gap filling question types, right? So if you can remember, we talked about gap filling questions in the second lesson. So if you haven't watched that, you can easily go back and watch it, right? And then you can gain general ideas about gap filling question types, right? So sentence completion is also one of the gap filling question types because the instructions will tell you how many words you can use, right? All the time you need to have a look at the instructions. And the information you need may be in one paragraph, or it can be spread over a long part of the passage. Have a look. You can take the answers either from one paragraph, or you can find it from the beginning till the end as well, right? And the next one says the questions will be in the passage order. So that's the positive feature of sentence completion. So you're going to have the answer of the first before the second, and the answer of the second before the third, and like this, okay? And the locating words, which means the keywords, will help you find the relevant part of the text, and you need to make sure the sentences are grammatically correct after you complete the sentence, okay? So all the time you need to have a grammar check, okay? If your sentence is incorrect after you choose the missing word, which means your answer is going to be marked as incorrect, okay? Now let's move. Here we've got the examples of sentence completion questions. Have a look. Now we shall discuss it together. And if you have a look at the instruction, it says choose no more than 2 words. So you're only going to use at most 2 words or 1 word as well, okay? Have a look. Over 20 studies have shown a person's something goes up when they are sleep deprived. So have a look at 20 studies, right? And have a look at this word as well, goes up. So you should find the results of 20 studies or even more than 20 studies, and it should show us persons something goes up when they are sleep deprived, which means when they sleep less, right? And if you have a look at this, it is a kind of singular verb, goes up, which means the answer of the sixth one is going to be something in singular, okay? Singular noun is going to be the answer. The next one, insufficient sleep is one of three factors which explain the something. And have a look, insufficient sleep is one of three factors. So they will talk about two more factors, two more reasons as well, and they should explain something, and we should find that thing, okay? And for this part, you're also going to have a noun as an answer, okay? And the next one, people who are given the something by doctors find it more effective if they sleep properly. So if people sleep properly, they find it more effective, which means the people to whom doctors give something. So if the doctors give something to people, and if they can, let's say, sleep effectively, that part is going to give us the answer, and we should find what the doctors give to those people, okay? Again, you're going to have a noun here. And the last one, Walker has described a lack of deep sleep is linked to something in young children. Have a look. So we've got a name, proper name. That's going to help us to find the relevant part of the text. And have a look at young children. They're talking about young children. So Volcker should say that, should give us the link between the lack of deep sleep and young children. Okay. So that's all about questions from 6 to 9. Now have a look at the other question type, which means 5 option multiple choice, okay? So task information. A 5 option multiple choice task requires you to choose 2 options from a list of 5, which means you will be given 5 options and only 2 of them are going to be correct. And look for information contained in one paragraph or spread over the whole text. Again, either you can have the answer from one paragraph or it can be taken from several parts of the text. And the next one, read the instructions carefully so that you can understand what specific answer you need to look for, right? All the time you need to read the instructions carefully. And underline the words and phrases that may be paraphrased in the text, right? All the time you need to look for synonyms and paraphrases, okay? Now here is the example of these question types, right? Here we've got 2 of them. From 10 to 11 as well as 12 and 13, right? So the list below mentions some things that individuals can do to ensure they get the right amount of sleep. Which 2 of these things are recommended by Matthew Walker, right? Have a look. So you should find the pieces of advice that were given by Matthew Walker, okay? So the advice should be given by Matthew Walker. As you can see here, I've underlined, I have highlighted the most important words. For example, if he says, let's say we should take a natural product that encourages sleep, you're going to choose a natural product, right? Have a look. The next one is avoiding looking at brightly lit screens after dark. Have a look. Next one is negotiating later start times for work with employers and keeping a regular record of hours spent sleeping, as well as reducing your activity level at a set time of day, right? Okay. And the next question is, which 2 of the following statements are true of Matthew Walker? So here they have given us some facts and information, and we should find which of them are about Matthew Walker, right? If Matthew Walker does something which is given here, that part is going to be chosen as an answer, okay? So if the explanations of these questions are understandable, we can easily move to the practice part. We can easily just read the paragraphs provided here and we can solve them as well, right? Here we've got questions from 1 to 5 as well as 12 and 13, and I have given you paragraph A, right? Which means you're going to find some answers from this part and this part as well. Now you have to pause the video. After you pause, you need to read paragraph A carefully, and then you can continue. We shall discuss it after you solve, okay? So if you have finished, now I'm opening the next page. So here you can see that we have found the answers of the fourth question, as well as we have chosen a version from questions 12 and 13, right? If you have a look at this part, Matthew Walker dreads the question, what do you do, right? And have a look. Dread is something like hate, right? Hate. So Matthew Walker hates the question, what do you do? And here, have a look. He is sometimes reluctant to admit what his profession is, right? So he doesn't like to admit what his profession is. So he doesn't like talking about his job. That's why the answer is A here, right? And in this part, we've got another piece of information. No one is doing anything about it, but things have to change. But when did you ever see a National Health Service poster urging sleep on people? When did a doctor prescribe not sleeping pills, but sleep itself? It needs to be prioritized, right? So here they're talking about the wrong approach of professionals, which means doctors, right? That's why we are just choosing this, a suggestion that medical professionals are not taking the right approach, right? Because of this, 4 is A. Okay, the answer is being taken from paragraph A. That's why the answer of 4 is going to be A. Okay. Now, we've got paragraph B, right? And you can easily, again, pause the video and find the answers to the questions from this and this part as well, okay? Okay, if you have finished, now I'll open the next page, giving us the answer. And you can see that we have chosen the answers for the second as well as the fifth question, okay? So I have highlighted the parts from which we have taken the answers. If you have a look, in 1942, less than 8% of the population was trying to survive on 6 hours or less sleep a night. In 2019, almost 1 in 2 people is, which means in the past only 8% of people used to sleep for, let's say, 6 hours or less, but now majority of them, which means nearly 50% of people, are doing the same. From this point, we can easily just choose this part. For example, a reference to changing trends in the average amount of sleep people get, right? So they're talking about average sleep in 1942 and the changes which have happened till 2017. Because of this, we're choosing this, okay? And if you have a look at the rest part, some reasons are obvious, but Volcker believes too that in the developed world, sleep is strongly associated with weakness. We want to seem busy, and one way we express that is by proclaiming how little sleep we are getting, right? Here they're just comparing sleep as weakness. They're just telling that sleep is considered as weakness, right? And so when I give lectures, people wait behind until there is no one around and then tell me quietly, I seem to be one of those people who need 8 or 9 hours sleep. It's embarrassing to say it in public. So it is embarrassing, which means they don't want to talk about the amount of sleep they get, right? Because of this, the answer is B for the second one, an explanation for some people not wanting to admit the amount of sleep they require, okay? Right. Now have a look at the next part. We've got paragraph C, and you can choose the answers for these question types, and here we've got sentence completion, right? Which means you're going to have the answers for the 6th and 7th questions from paragraph C, okay? So we have already had the explanation part for the questions, which means you can again pause the video and find the answers, and then we shall discuss. Well, great. Now we shall move on And here you can see that we have only taken the answers for question number 6 and 7, but we didn't have the answer for this part, right? So the answer for 6 is blood pressure and 7 is obesity crisis, right? Let's have a look at the reason why, okay? So more than 20 studies all report the same relationship. The shorter you sleep, the shorter your life. So if you sleep less, you will live less, right? So here they're talking about the results of 20 studies. And here, this is because even one night of sleep reduction will affect a person's heart and significantly increase their blood pressure as a result, right? So if you sleep less, even one night, it will affect your body and it will increase your blood pressure, right? And increase is going to be the synonym of go up here, right? So blood pressure is increasing. That's why we're choosing it as an answer to the 6th question, right? And for the 7th one, we're taking the answers from this part. I'm not going to say that the obesity crisis is caused by the sleep loss epidemic alone, says Volcker. So it says the obesity crisis is caused by the sleep loss epidemic alone, says Volcker, which means this is not the only reason, right? However, processed food and sedentary lifestyles do not adequately explain its rise. It's now clear that sleep is that third ingredient. So sleep is the third reason, which means the first and the second reasons are going to be processed food and sedentary lifestyles. So if you have a look here, they were talking about 3 factors, which means 3 reasons. That's why the answer is going to be obesity crisis, okay? So sleep is one of 3 reasons, and it explains the obesity crisis, okay? So well done. Now we are going to move to the next part. So we have reached paragraph D, right? And here we have to get the answers of the 12th and 13th question, as well as sentence completion from 8 and 9. Again, you can easily pause the video and read the paragraph, little paragraph, and find the answers, and then we shall go on. Well, great. If you have finished, now I'll show the answers. And here you can see that we have chosen the option E, as well as we have found the answers for 8 and 9, right? So first of all, have a look. We are going to have the explanation for the 8th question here. The well-rested also respond better to the flu vaccine, so this is something people should bear in mind before visiting their doctors, right? Have a look. Sleep also has a powerful effect on the immune system, which is why when we have flu, our first instinct is to go to bed. If you are tired, you are more likely to get sick. The well-rested also, which means the people who rested well, also respond better to the flu vaccine. So this is something people should bear in mind before visiting their doctors, right? That's why if you have a look, we're having this. People who are given the flu vaccine by doctors find it more effective if they sleep properly, right? Have a look. Well-rested is going to be the synonym of sleeping properly, and in this part, flu vaccine is going to be the answer, right? And from this point, we have got the answer for the 9th one. So, if they don't get enough, managing aggressive behavior becomes harder and harder. So here they were talking about young children, right? Young children, and if they don't sleep enough, so it's going to be difficult to manage their aggressive behavior. So Walker has described the lack of deep sleep is linked to aggressive behavior in young children. Because of this, we are having it as an answer, okay? And from the last sentences of the paragraph, we have got the answer of this. Have a look. Yes, I give myself a non-negotiable 8-hour sleep opportunity every night, which means he sleeps for 8 hours every day, and I keep very regular hours. I take my sleep incredibly seriously because I have seen the evidence, right? So here it says he also makes sure he gets enough sleep each night. So they are going to mean the same. They are the paraphrases of each other. That's why we have chosen that as an answer. Now we have reached paragraph E, right? And now you have to again pause the video and read paragraph E, and you need to find the answers of the first and the third question types if the answer exists here, okay? Well, great. If you have finished, now I'm opening the next page. And you can see that we've got both of the answers from paragraph E, okay? Have a look. During NREM sleep, your body settles into this lovely low state of energy. Walker explains, right? So this is one type of sleep. And REM sleep, on the other hand, is an incredible active brain state. Your heart and nervous system go through spurts of activity. So here they're having a comparison between two types of sleeps. That's why we're choosing this as an answer, a comparison between two different types of sleep that people experience, okay? And from this point, we have got the answers of the third question. So, it's important for people to break in sleep habits. For people to break bad sleep habits. So they're talking about bad sleep habits. For example, they shouldn't be regularly working late into the night. So this is the first bad habit, right? As this affects cognitive functioning. Depending on sleeping pills is also not a good idea, as it can have a damaging effect on memory, right? So it affects on our memory negatively, right? So here they're just giving us examples of different behaviors that have a negative impact on mental performance, okay? That's why these are going to be the answers. Well done if this is understandable. Now have a look at this part. You're going to have the answers of questions 10 to 11 from paragraph E, okay? And now we have reached the final stage, and we are so sorry. By chance, we haven't included the part which you had to solve these question types. We have already given the answers, but we shall have the explanation anyway. Have a look. 10 and 11. Which two of these things are recommended by Matthew Walker? And we have chosen D and E. Now let's have a look and look through the reason why. So what can individuals do to ensure they get the right amounts of sleep? Firstly, we could think about getting ready for sleep in the same way we prepare for the end of a workout, right? Have a look. They're comparing the sleep to a kind of workout in the gym. Say on a spine bike, right? People use alarms to wake up, Walker says. So why don't we have a bedtime alarm to tell us we've got half an hour that we should start cycling down? So here you're cycling as quickly as possible, and he suggests that we should set some alarms telling that we should cycle down, which means slow down cycling, right? So from this point, it's clear that reducing your activity level at a set time of day is the part. And from this part, we have chosen D as well. Have a look. We can also systematically measure our sleep by using personal tracking devices. Walker says so. Tracking devices are something like recordings, right? So keeping a regular record of hours spent sleeping is another suggestion given by Matthew Walker, okay? So that was all about this reading passage and the question type explanation. Thanks for watching the video. and try to stay tuned. We shall later on try to provide you with the exercises and some reading passages related to these question types.